Alright, I'm going to keep going tonight. Kind of restless, and I've had several comments and a couple of messages after I just made that video. So, here we go. I put a shirt on, if that helps. Here's the thing. To follow God and to be strong and to be perfect, that'll never happen. Brandon, I'll go to bed here in a minute. I got a couple messages from people, and I'm glad it helped. I'm glad that people reached out, because I don't make these because I'm some kind of a counselor. I don't make these because because I've got it figured out. I make these because, number one, it helps me, and number two, I feel like I've been called to do this from God. And I'm not scared to talk about what's been going on and how things have helped me and proof that it's there. But let's talk about being stuck. And it can be stuck in a job. It could be stuck in a negative environment. It could be stuck in a relationship that you're not supposed to be in. And that goes back to making those decisions and really looking at things and figuring out, reading the signs, figuring out, is this where you're supposed to be? Are these the people that you're supposed to be with? And acceptance. Acceptance of some things that may not go your way. Accepting that it is okay to fail. It's okay to lose. Because that, whatever that event in your life, that person, that job, that thing, that day, it's not meant to stay. But the effects of what is done, or the people that come in and out, or situations, the effects of how long they'll last are up to you. They're up to me. And whether you're doing it through God's way or not, which that's the only way I believe works for me. Some people may figure out another way. Not real sure what that would be. But that's everybody has a different prerogative. Everybody does things different. But whatever you do, start to do, just make sure it's positive. And that will lessen the time and the impact of whatever negative, whatever bad seeds were sown to stay in your life. Because nothing's permanent. It's just like the weather. Everything changes every day. We change, people change, jobs change, relationships change. People fall in and out of love. People cling to people for a long time and become obsessed. And it's not healthy. So make sure that where you are is where you're supposed to be, and not just where you think you ought to be. And if it's not healthy, then you either have to work on it and fix it, or you have to sit down and figure out, are you even supposed to be there in the first place? I've had to do that several times. More times than I can count, probably in the last year. But until I decided to admit that I had faults in it, admit that the things I were doing were wrong, I thought it was everybody else that owed me something. I thought it was people were just doing me wrong. Well, that's a slight possibility. But the majority of it was the way I was handling things, the way I talked and acted and worked and treated people. It really boiled down to myself and what I'm willing to do. Because you can't change people. You can't force somebody to do anything. And the more you try, the more it's going to blow up in your face, the more it's going to burn out. It's just going to hurt. Nobody likes feeling pain. So to stay stuck in a place, in a position, in a relationship, or a job, or a lifestyle that you feel pain, that's no way to be. You wouldn't keep sticking your hand on a thumbtack if it didn't feel good. You would stop. at least you would think you would stop. Well, that's the same thing. How many times you want to cut yourself? How many times you want to keep sticking that knife in the same spot and twisting it around, opening up a wound? It's the same principle. Easier said than done, but you have to ground yourself. You have to make yourself grow up. You have to mature, which that's hard. That's probably the hardest. It's easier to do the wrong thing than it is to do the right thing. Your parents kind of grind that into you growing up. Well, it makes a lot of sense once you hit an age that things start to matter, and it's not okay to be cool. It's not okay to worry about how many friends you got, how many trucks you got, how many bikes you got, how much money you have, how many girlfriends you can, run through. None of that's cool. It might have been at one time, but when reality sets in, that's not what matters. But that's dang sure what'll get you in the mess that, like, I've been in and several other people. Now, tomorrow, in the future. Everybody has the option to get up and move. But you also have the option to sit and stay and drown. And it's hard. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do. But the best thing you could ever do is not give up. Not give in. Sorry, I was interrupted by a phone call. But, I don't know. I'm going to start doing these a little more scripted. Probably try to get a little bit of a backbone and some bulletins on some of this stuff and not just randomly sit here and talk. But I hope it helps, because I know it helps me to make these. And I hope the message gets to people and that it impacts you in a positive way, because I know it has me. And I pass along what I've been taught and the gifts and the positive things that have happened. So that's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. Not for attention, not for anything like that. I could care less about the attention. That's something else I learned about. Craving attention. Craving anything other than self-esteem, and a positive self-esteem, which God gives us that option through the love that He has for us, and not to depend on money, women, men, material things. So, man, I don't know. I don't know what else I can say. But to anybody that asks me how I came to Jesus, to anybody that wants to know what the purpose of these, where these come from, well, it comes from my own personal trial and tribulation. It comes from making the wrong choices. And it comes from finally realizing that something's not right. And if something doesn't change, well, there's going to be hell to pay. There's going to be high waters that I can't surface from. So that's why. And that's why it's important to be the best you can be at whatever you're doing. And I don't mean be the best as in be number one. Be the best as in somebody that everybody can say, hey, that guy right there, he'll help you. That guy right there, he's positive. That guy right there, he's clean. He's neat. He's respectable. Not somebody of power. Power doesn't matter. It's not fear that you want people to get from you. It's love. It's respect. It's positive curiosity. And, a reawakening. There you go. Nearly a reckoning. But you have to reawaken yourself every day that you get up. Every day that you start your day. You have to restart everything, basically. And that's what I'm talking about. It's the effort. Sure, it's easy to fall back and just say, screw it, man. Let the pain come and live in it. I've done it. Man, I've done it for years. I grew up like that. Everybody just, was negative. Still to this day. But that's not the way to be. It sucks. Have you ever just done something for somebody? Or have you ever had something done for you and you're like, man, that felt good. They're like washing your hands after working on something greasy. You know, you just want to get clean. You just can't wait to get it off. Well, that's the same way with life. You can bathe yourself in poop, or you can bathe yourself in Christ's blood. Something pure. Something holy. And I don't mean holy like holy in your head and stuff coming and going. I mean holy is in something positive. Something that is there. A foundation. A structure. Man, I really need to go to bed. Just staying up late. And this gets old, but this is for a good thing. This is kind of a cleansing for me right now. This feels like I'm washing myself. And that's what everybody's got to do. That's not what everybody has to do. But if that's what you want, that's what you have got to do. It's your choice. It's my choice. We can live it and we can earn it, or we can waste it and blow it all down the drain. It's your clay figure, so you can mold it the way you want it. It's your baby. Take care of it, feed it, grow it. It will only give you what you put into it. Granted, life will throw you some curveballs, but see, just like insurance on your car, God gives us insurance in Him that, yeah, there's going to be a little bit to pay. There's going to be a little bit to endure. But if you got Him and if you're living right, it is so much simpler, and the hole is a lot less deep to crawl out of. Shannon Grady, you asked me at my age what makes me believe in God. I'll be 27 in May, so I guess to me, honestly, at my age, I don't know if you're asking, if I'm young. Are you saying that I'm young? Why do I believe in God at a young age? Well, I'll tell you, I think I did it pretty late. I think I'm a pretty late bloomer. So to be honest, I wished I had this understanding at 5 years old. What made me believe in God was seeing the proof. And like I was saying, I kept rolling through this stuff day by day, going in and out of it, wondering, why didn't it change? Well, why didn't somebody do it for me? Well, that's just like your mom, it's the same thing with God. You come to an age where you're going to have to stand up and do something yourself. And you're going to have to make the effort to seek the right order, to seek the right movement, to seek the right train of thought, positive thoughts, positive actions. Well, just like your refrigerator, just like your AC, just like the car that you buy, everything comes with an instruction book. Whether you want to believe it or not, you probably ought to read the instruction book. Well, the instruction book that I found for us was not a doctor. It was not a pill. It was God and what the Bible says. And if you think about it, it's got to be real, because think about it. If you're rude to people, what happens? Nobody likes you. But like the way God says to treat people and act and conduct yourself and to don't cast stones, to not to judge, to love unconditionally, not conditionally, unconditionally. That's how I know that God is real, because I tried it, man. And it took several different times, several different things to try, but it proved itself to me just slowly, surely over time. Granted, I still fail. I still fall back. I still struggle. I still blow up at times. The devil still gets a hold of me. But I have to step back out of my rage and out of my anger and out of my depression, out of my sadness. I have to shake it off and remember to get back on that track with God that He wants us to be on. I have to crack that book open. Or I have to go talk to people that have helped get me to where I am now. You know, Jackie Qualls, my buddy Brandon Hogue, my dad, my buddy Cody. I mean, Brian Kuby, Matt Stripling. I mean, those are a lot of people that have shown me things that help lead me to God. I've talked to godly women. Listen to radio shows, man. I don't know if you're in Lubbock or not, but 90.1, Dr. Randy Carlson does a lot of shows at like 1 p.m. and 7 p.m., and it's called Focus on the Family, I think, or Family Talk Radio, Focus on the Family. Anyway, he does a segment where he focuses on all of life's issues, marriage, work, personal growth. And you just listen to that stuff, man, and you got to quit listening to the world and quit listening to the negative stuff, because drinking's not the answer, drugs aren't the answer, and in my opinion, pills aren't the answer. A doctor doesn't have your answer. Maybe he can help. It's cool to talk to educated people, but there's really just one fix, and it's God, and it's His Word. It's what He tells us to do. I'm not harping on this stuff, and I'm not trying to be the pot that called the kettle black, because I still drink beer every once in a while. I still cuss, I haven't quite straightened everything out yet, and I don't think anybody ever will. And if you do, or if you think you do, there's probably something wrong. Either that, or you were born with something that no one else has, and we probably need to sit down and talk about that, because if you have like a perfect bone in your body, we need to examine this and try to clone it, because it doesn't exist. But what does exist is work ethic. It's the same with God. If what you put into Him, He will give back to you tenfold. Whatever you do, put into your, the same goes with your job. It's the same principle. But God is definitely real, and He proves that to us. Granted, He doesn't fly down out of heaven and we can't see His manly form physically. Now, there are signs, but I physically have never seen, He's never just jumped out of His chair from up there and been like, hey, do this. It comes from different things. It comes through people. It comes through results. It comes through thoughts in my own head where I can hear Him. It comes through quiet time, study. It comes through these videos I make. Man, God's real. He's everywhere. It comes through kids. Man, to be honest, my 6-year-old son teaches me more than anybody. And he also teaches me that I'm pretty selfish. Sorry, I'm kind of cracking up, because especially if you got kids, man, your kids need you. And that's something I've been selfish about. I've been worried about trucks and women and the hunting and the fishing and just trying to be my own badass, trying to be cool. Well, that's not cool. And to be honest, I got a good helping of crap shoveled in my face. It didn't taste good, but this lesson that I'm learning, that I'm still continuing to learn, I'm still getting crap shoveled in my face every day. It's kind of bittersweet, because I needed it. This is what I needed. I need these awakenings. I attend church every once in a while. I really haven't found a church home, which is kind of odd in my walk. I don't know if it's something I'm running from. I haven't got that part of it ironed out yet. I've always liked to be kind of out in the woods, seeking God, like in the world that He created. And I know He created the church too, but I spend so much time working, traveling out of town, that a church home being steady is kind of hard to come by. And when you travel all the places I do, you really don't know the area. It's kind of uncomfortable for me just to pop into a church, although I have been doing that here recently. I found a church in Midland, and I've been checking it out the last week. I went 3 times last week to this church, so I'm gonna go tomorrow night. Matter of fact, and I'll go Wednesday and probably Thursday of this week. And if I move back to Lubbock here in the near future, I will definitely be seeking out prayer groups and church homes, and getting back with the people that started helping me in the beginning in the Lubbock area. But it is hard. It's hard when I'm spread out like this because my job requires me to be pretty much married to it for 60, 70 hours a week, 5 days a week. And then I spend a lot of time traveling from wherever I'm working back to Lubbock, try to be with my son, and then on Sundays, drive back and get ready to go who knows where. So it's up and down, man. It's a roller coaster ride. Life is hard, but you get out of it what you put into it, and you can only go so far. And without God, you're not going to go very far. At least I didn't. And I'm not saying I've gone far now, but for what I have let God in on, man, I've come a heck of a lot further than what I was. I know that for a fact. I was in bad shape. Bad shape. Still got a lot to go, but you probably won't ever quit until you lay down to rest forever. I don't know, man. It helps me, and thanks for everybody and the positive, positive questions, positive answers. It's a good feeling. It's a little cleansing. So to anybody that it aggravates, I'm sorry. I'm not saying I'm sorry because I've offended you. I'm sorry because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to think that, nah, I don't need that. That's not for me. Well, fortunately, God is for everybody, and everybody can use some of what He's got. His opinion matters, unfortunately. I'm saying unfortunately, people have opinions. Some people's opinions matter, some don't. Well, this particular person, God, his opinion does matter. And it will absolutely have everything to do with the way that your life is outlined and what happens after. So, that's something to think about too. But, man, I'm going to go to bed now. I'm going to leave it with y'all, and this is what it is. Hope you enjoy it. More to come. So, I run from these still some because it's pretty hard to make these. It's not easy. This is really laying my stuff out there, which without going into detail, but sometimes it's a little uncomfortable, but I'm just going to keep going with it. So, because it won't ever work if you don't give it a shot. So, there you go. Hopefully one of these days I'll be able to start reciting scripture from memory, and that's a goal in my life. I have some stuff memorized, but a lot of times I still have to go back and I have to reread stuff I've read 10 times because I'm still a developing baby in my walk with Christ. I don't know that there are any seasoned veterans. I do know that there are people with a higher education with God in the walk. That's who I seek out. That's where I get my education from, as well as personal stuff with God. But man, I got a long ways to go. There you have it. As always, fly with Christ. Try to do the best you can. It's hard. You never know. Every day is new. So some stuff stays the same, but there's going to be a lot of stuff you don't know what's going to happen as soon as you step foot out your door. Fly with Christ. Good night. I love you all.